The United States, in the years leading up to 1861, was a nation deeply divided. At the heart of this division was the issue of slavery. The southern states relied heavily on enslaved labor for their agricultural economy, particularly cotton production. However, in the North, where industrialization was taking hold, slavery was increasingly viewed as morally abhorrent. Abolitionist movements gained momentum in the North, fueled by impassioned speeches and writings. The North, with its bustling cities and factories, embraced progress and industrial growth. The South, on the other hand, held on to an agrarian way of life, valuing tradition and a slower pace. Compromises were attempted, but the chasm between the two sides proved too wide. The issue of slavery, intertwined with economic and cultural disparities, became a powder keg, and the fuse was lit with the election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860. His election ignited fear and outrage in the South, ultimately leading to the secession of several southern states who believed their way of life was under threat. The election of Abraham Lincoln sent shockwaves through the South. Southern states, fearing the abolition of slavery and the erosion of their autonomy, saw secession as their only option. South Carolina led the way, withdrawing from the Union in December 1860. It was quickly followed by Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. These seceded states formed the Confederate States of America, electing Jefferson Davis as their president. With tensions at a boiling point, the first shots of the Civil War rang out at Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina, on April 12, 1861. The Confederate attack on Fort Sumter, a Union garrison, signaled the official start of the war. The early battles of the war, such as First Bull Run, revealed the brutal reality of the conflict. The Civil War was not just a clash of armies, but a clash of ideologies. The North fought to preserve the Union, while the South fought for their right to self-determination and to protect the institution of slavery. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought over 3 scorching days in July 1863, stands as a pivotal moment in the American Civil War. The small town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, became the site of one of the bloodiest battles in American history. Confederate General Robert E. Lee led his Army of Northern Virginia into Union territory. The Union Army, commanded by General George G. Meade, met Lee's forces at Gettysburg. What followed was a brutal 3-day struggle. The climax came with Pickett's charge, a futile assault by Confederate troops. Gettysburg marked the Confederacy's high-water mark. Lee's army retreated back to Virginia. The Union victory at Gettysburg, coupled with the capture of Vicksburg, shifted the war's momentum. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address inspired the North. Ulysses S. Grant emerged as a key figure in the Union victory. Grant's relentless pursuit of Confederate forces proved instrumental in ending the war. The American Civil War, a conflict that tore the nation apart and claimed the lives of over 600,000 Americans, finally came to an end in April 1865. The Confederacy, exhausted and outmatched, surrendered to the Union forces. The war's end marked the beginning of a long and arduous process of reconstruction, as the nation grappled with the task of reuniting and rebuilding. The legacy of the Civil War continues to reverberate through American society today. The war settled the issue of slavery, abolishing it once and for all. It reaffirmed the strength of the federal government and the principle of national unity. However, the war's scars run deep. The issues of race, equality, and the legacy of slavery continue to be points of contention and debate in the United States. The lessons learned from this tumultuous period in American history continue to shape the nation's identity, reminding us that freedom is not free, and that the pursuit of a just and equitable society is an ongoing endeavor.